Hey, everybody out there. Well, I hope y'all are doing good. I am fabulous, and I thought I'd share with you my final day out there at Pickwick Lake. And, sometimes you just got to see the bigger picture. And sometimes that means you put yourself second or last to do what I think is the right thing. I grew up with a 20-year-old young man named Nico, and he was from kind of the Ohio River area, Tanner's Creek area of the Ohio River. So he was used to tough fishing and really wonderful young man. But he was in 20th place. They paired us together for the last day in 20th. And, I was geared up just like I had been with those two spinner baits in my jig and ready to go out and do it one more day. And the river had kind of settled out that day. It kind of settled out a couple more inches and kind of the current had really slowed down. And I won't lie, I was pretty tired anyway, just beat from fishing so long. But I headed to my best area, really knew that I could probably catch a few more fish there. And pulled up there. I picked up my spinner bait. I explained to him how I was fishing those trees. I was doing a lot of straight in casting, not throwing down the bank. I said, man, the only way I can fish these logs is to kind of get right even with them, and I throw straight in. I said, it's going to feel like I'm not giving you any water, but it's the only way I can bring that bait by those limbs the way I need to. And I just want you to know how I'm going to be casting for the day. And which he was like, oh, man, it's all good. I appreciate that. Let me know kind of what you're doing. And so I took off and took off throwing that spinner bait and, went through a couple different logs and never had a bite. And he didn't have a bite. And we were just kind of boinking up through there. And I came up to the very best tree that I had. I'd caught 3 or 4 or 5 bass out of this one tree and a couple of really big ones. And I absolutely thrashed this tree with that orange crush spinnerbait of mine, and I never had a bite. And I'd got all the way past that tree, and he picked up it wasn't a 6-inch Cinco, but it was about a 5-inch looking one on a shaky head, and he pitched it up beside that tree right against the trunk of it there, which I'd already thrown there 10 times. And he catches, I don't think it was 5, but it was a heavy 4 something, just like that on that Cinco, and I won't lie, immediately I went, uh-oh, these fish are locking in on something to the bottom or these trees tight. But I was like, you know what, this spinnerbait's been good to me, boy. And I'm just going to keep throwing it. I'll let him do his thing because I haven't thrown Cinco all week. I haven't even considered a shaky head or anything like that. Going down just a little bit further down the bank, he's dragging it off the shore a little bit. He catches another 4-pounder right at it. And, at that point, I'm like, oh, no. I won't lie. I was like, oh, man, I haven't even had a bite yet. So I went on down that bank. I decided to turn around and come back up through there. And I picked up my jig. I thought I'm going to just start flipping my jig, maybe I can pick one up on a jig. And he's throwing his Cinco. And I go all the way up through there flipping my jig. I never have a bite, it's like, man. So we go on down to the next spot I had that had some similar trees on it. Man, I thrashed this perfect. I mean, it was a perfect log. Actually, we fished through quite a few. But he caught 2 shorts down through that other part. Then we come up to this perfect log. I throw and throw and throw on it with my spinner bait. He pitches up there with that Cinco, catches another big one. And, it was a little frustrating, kind of like, man, the fish are here. I'm just not catching them. And, but in my heart, I was thinking, man, I put on Cinco, will probably catch some of those. But I just couldn't make myself do it. I was like, Chris, you haven't thrown a Cinco all week. It wasn't even on your mind. And these are his fish, and you need to let him catch them. I knew I needed to catch 20 plus pounds or better to have a chance to get that 17th place spot. And I just couldn't make myself do it. So I put on a creature bait and tried that a little bit, and I pitched my jig, and I continued to throw my spinnerbait. And the wind was blowing. I was like, man, at some point they're going to go biting this blade, and it's going to work out. Going down a little further, he catches another really good one. And he ends up catching 5 really good bass that day on his Cinco amongst quite a few shorts mixed in. And I had 1 bite on a jig and caught 1 keeper on a jig when it was all said and done. But when we came in, as an angler, it's hard to kind of let that go. But somehow during the day, I just knew all day long, I just needed to let him catch his fish. It wasn't my day. And I know that's hard for people to imagine, but when we got in, it ends up that his brother, and he said his brother was fishing that day. His brother was in 10th place that day. His brother, this young man was 20. His brother was 22. They were both there fishing together. His brother had made the cut as a boater. He had made the cut as a non-boater. And when it all washed out, he had 3 bass that weighed almost 13 pounds. When it all washed out, his brother came in 6th place on the boater side. And Nico came in 6th place on the non-boater side with the stringer he had. Moved him way up in the standings, got him a lot better payday. And for him and his brother both, it's the first time ever that they've made a national championship, and they're going to get to go there together. Let that get a hold of you. 2 brothers. I mean, I can't imagine how wonderful it'd be if me and my brother got to go to a national championship together. So for me, I would have hated to have been the guy that had picked up a Cinco and went to seining those trees in front of him, and he hadn't caught those other 2 fish or been able to cull up, and he'd have ended up in 18th and not making the national championship. Because even if I had every fish he caught that day, I wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have helped. It wouldn't have got me in, but it got him in. And it's going to give him and his brother something really special. It made my drive so good going home to know that, sometimes you just got to trust your gut and go, you know what? You need to let this happen for him. And I'm glad I did. And some people might go, oh, no, man, you got to go for the win always. Yeah, I disagree on that. I'm so thankful they're getting to do that together. My time will come. I'll get my chance this year. And if I don't, hey, I'm okay with that too. So I think things happen for a reason. And if you let them happen, most of the time they're good. Remember that. We'll catch y'all next time.